Hi, welcome to the Coffee Chat Show here on Buzzing Pattaya, the show where we talk about things that are happening right here, right now, as well as general news, tips, information and advice. Alright, so today, now I did promise you before Christmas that I'll be bringing lots more people to the interview, and you may or may not have seen the last one we did, which was with Brian Flowers, which was brilliant. And today, I'm really pleased to say, I'm sat here with Phil, aka Mr. Egg from Le Pub. How you doing, buddy?
Trevor, welcome to Le Pub.
Now, before anybody drops a smart comment, and I know what you're thinking, we are not related, okay? He's much better looking than me, so let's not get that one in before anyone says it. You know they're going to say it, don't you? Are you two brothers?
Right, so Fred.
Well, do you know what? The other day I got a really nice comment, and I'm going to hang you out to dry now. The other day they said to me, why are people our age fat, bald, and ugly?
I saw that, yeah.
What is that about? I mean, seriously. But anyway, enough about you. If it made your day, good on you. All right, so I'm sat here with Phil, and I'm going to talk to Phil about a lot of things. He's a very, very knowledgeable man. He's been here a long, long time, and he's been in the thick of all of it. So I want to just go through a few things with you. I mean, talk to me about before Pattaya. You know, when you were back home. Where are you originally from?
Well, I was born. Can I talk about football at all?
You can.
Okay. I was born literally within the shadow of the Aston Villa football ground.
I thought we were going to talk about football.
Actually, that's a good segue because my very first memory was moving away from that house to the promised land.
The promised land.
West Bromwich. I went to a place called West Bromwich. For those of you who don't know, it's just north of Birmingham.
Is that what we call the Black Country?
It's the Black Country, yeah. It's the Black Country. And it's called the Black Country because it used to be a big mining area, and there's lots of foundries, very industrial, and all the workers back in the Victorian times and later always used to have like soot and dirt on their faces. Yeah. So that's why it was called the Black Country.
There you go. See, you learned something new. I never knew that.
A little bit of history, mate.
Yeah, see, not only do you know a lot about Pattaya, but you know that. And I mean, what were you doing back in England? What was your job back in England?
Actually, my very first job was as a DJ. I was working, I got really lucky. Most people, when they become a DJ, this was 1980s, early 1980s.
Yeah.
Most people start off as like a wedding DJ.
Yeah.
And then go maybe into a wine bar or something, and then they go into a nightclub. I just started off DJing in a nightclub straight away. And can I just say, I know we're not really talking about DJing, but being a wedding DJ, I've done 2,000, 3,000 capacity nightclubs. The hardest live DJing to do is weddings and those sort of parties because it's a one-off event.
Yeah.
Everyone's a bit nervous. The bride, you know, the bride's mother is always the one. She's always the one that has a hissy fit sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, I've done hundreds of weddings. Most of them have failed, you know.
So there you go. If you're getting married, don't hire me because you've got a less than good chance of survival.
But by the age of 17, actually, I've got to be honest. For a while, I was homeless for a while, but that was my own fault, really. By the age of 17, I had a residency in a top club in Birmingham.
Okay.
And started then. Actually, got a real job.
Yeah.
In a warehouse. Did that for a long time. In the late 90s, after having done that, did a bit of radio work, did a few voiceovers and stuff like that, and then started working in strip clubs. Now hold on, it's not bad. I was behind the decks. I wasn't on the stage.
Well, that's
I was kind of announcing the girls. So I was going, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tiffany. Tiffany would come on, do her song. Ladies and gentlemen, what's Tiffany? That sort of thing. I did that for about 15 years. No, about 10 years, say. And then came over here. Actually, the first time I came to work in Pattaya, about 2003.
Right.
And then did a couple of years. Things, to be honest, didn't really work out for me the first time I was here.
So did you come here on holiday first, or did you come here straight to work?
Yes, I've jumped the gun a bit. 1996 was the first time I came.
96?
1996.
Wow.
Oh, I mean, it was all
you see
fields.
some changes.
It was all fields. There was elephants on walking streets. Literally, there were elephants on walking streets.
Very nice, is it? They have tried to lose weight recently.
Yeah. I know. I employ them all now. So
that's not true. Before you go, it's not true. He's got some lovely girls.
But I'll tell you the thing about the elephants while we're on the subject. People don't believe this. They used to walk down beach road sometimes, and one of the rules was, if you had an elephant and you would go, no, seriously, they were kind of for entertainment and photography purposes.
Okay.
If you had an elephant and you're going down Beach Road, it had to have a red light on its tail. And so, seriously, there were yeah, because you'd be, you know, some Thai, you know, other Thai names are available, be on his motorbike, had, you know, one or two songs, he'd be going there, and all of a sudden, bang, straight into the elephant. Not really bothered about the elephant would be going, oh, there's a bit of a
Little scratch going on there, yeah.
Some child would be dead. So, yeah, they were a road hazard, so they used to put lights on the tails of the elephants.
Wow.
So, yeah, true story.
And I mean, back in the day, I mean, you know, you've been here a long, long time. I mean, you've seen this city evolve. I mean, what's been the most dramatic thing that you've seen over the years change?
Well, I would say about 2005 we started to see a lot of what I would call package tourism mainly from, we call it Russia, but actually it's like Eastern Europe, because most of the Russians aren't actually Russian, a lot of them are from Uzbekistan and places like that. So yeah, I noticed, I was going to say to you, I went home for a few years because my mum got ill. And when I started coming back here on holiday about 2005, I noticed that kind of tourism started. There was always the Chinese, Koreans, Japanese that used to be called flag chasers.
Yeah.
There were always those, even in the late 90s. There was always
it?
those.
Wow.
But it just seemed to explode around the early 2000s.
Okay.
So that was a big change. I would say, obviously, people will go on about the internet, mobile phones, smartphones. The first time I was here, I fell in love with a girl, and I wanted to talk to her. So the only way to do it was by airmail. Do you remember airmail? It was
you put pen to paper?
It was like crepe paper. You used to go to the post office and buy a bag of a packet of airmails.
Yeah.
And they already had a stamp on, and it was honestly, it was the thinnest paper you can imagine. And you just used to write things like, "Oh, I miss you so much," like that. And then it used to come to the bar where she was working, and then I would, 2 or 3 weeks later, there would be a letter land on my doorstep. You don't get this with emails. It smelt a bit like Thailand. Oh, was that her perfume? You know, great. And you would open it up, and it would be.
I don't want to know what was inside.
Oh no! It was like, oh, I miss you so much. You know, I hope you're okay. I hope it's not too cold in England.
And a stupid question though, Phil. Did they write a lot in English? I mean, was English good back then?
Can I let you into a secret?
Go on.
There's no one watching. Fast forward 7 or 8 years. I'm a bar manager, right? Girls used to come to me with letters and say, this guy's written to me, can you make up a reply? No. So I'd be going, I actually drew the line at ever really lying, really bad. No, because I think you've got more. It's like, I mean, I have told a story in another video of mine on my channel, which is Pattaya, which I'm sure
we'll talk about that. Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
More about that later. There was a girl that asked me to tell the person who was writing to her that she'd opened a laundrette on Walking Street. And please could you send her 50,000 baht, because that was direct. And I thought, of all the locations, you think, oh, hold on, where should I go and wash my clothes? Hold on a minute, Walking Street. Yeah. So I drew the line at that, I said no. But very, very regularly, because I try to, when you're a manager, you obviously try and please customers, but also when you're on the other side of the bar, you're trying to make sure your staff are happy as well. So I used to answer the letters for the girls sometimes, but I would never ever, I would sort of beat around the bush a bit, but I would never ever lie or try to extort money or anything like that.
Okay,
because I have got a heart, a beating heart.
All right, so you've come here holiday and you've returned for working. What was your first job here in Pattaya?
I worked on Walking Street. It was electric blue. Now, everyone thinks electric blue is Soi 15. It is now, although it's at the moment closed because of COVID. But it was electric blue and it was on Walking Street. It is now, ironically, a hair salon.
Neither you or I need that then.
Exactly. And it's actually 2 doors up from iBar.
Okay.
So if you get to iBar, is it iBar? Yeah, the one on the ground, iBar. Not the next one. That was a place called Hooties, by the way, if anyone remembers that. Hooties was basically a rip-off of a well-known American chicken joint.
Okay, yeah.
Same colour uniforms, same logo, but it was called Hooties instead of something else. That was next door to what is now iBar, which by the way used to be a tailor's, but more of that later. And then next door was Electric Blue, and that was the first job I had.
Wow. And when you came here to work, I mean, how did you feel? Because obviously, you know, you've been a successful DJ in England. You've DJed to thousands of people, and now you're in a bar, and I'm guessing that the bar was like a girly bar, and there was items of clothing perhaps missing at various times of the day. So, I mean, how did that transition take place?
I must admit, I got my feet on the ground pretty quickly.
Yeah.
When I used to come on holiday, the first thing I would do, and at the time it was Don Muang Airport. I used to land at Don Muang Airport, never mind the bus, straight in a taxi down to Pattaya. First thing I did, I said to myself when I come to work, I've got to get out of holiday mode really quickly. So the very first thing I did when I got to the airport is I got a bus instead. So
okay.
just to say, I can't keep spending money. So yeah, got to work pretty quickly. I'd already worked in strip clubs and lap dance bars, as I already said.
Yeah.
So the transition was not difficult. Although I would say, any tips for any kind of people who want to be managers, if they want to take any advice off me, I would say all the management rules and the things that you learn being a manager, whether it's in a bar, whether it's in a restaurant or in an office or whatever, just throw them out the window, because it doesn't work in Thailand. You cannot, for example, micromanage Thai people. You can't be sitting there going, no, you're doing that wrong. Actually, I've seen somebody do that in a fast food restaurant. She was making up my sandwich. I might give it away what restaurant it was. Yeah. And this guy was standing over her and saying, no, you're doing that wrong, there's too much of that, you've got to... And she served my sandwich. I then saw the girl go in the back, get her bag and walk out. Because obviously she'd lost face because the guy was... So you cannot micromanage Thai people. That was the main thing that always stuck in my mind when I first came out here.
And I mean, going back in time when you first got here and you opened up the bar, or sorry, not open bar, you're working in the club.
Right.
What's it like the good old days with the cold flannel and all that kind of service and treatment that seems to be missing now so badly? You know, we were talking about this the other day on one of the comments in a video saying about how you miss the cold flannel on the neck, and you might get a shoulder massage and no pushing for drink. I mean, was that how your place was?
I would say you'd be surprised. I think people tend to look at all things in the past with rose tinted glasses, because yes, there was the cold flannel, and yes, there was the back massage. By the way, you get these here as well. Would you like a cold towel, Trevor?
I'll settle with that, but not the massage.
So you do get that here, by the way, but you still got the rip off. You still got, and actually, people who are coming here, the customers, were less educated about things like. The old 500 baht, 1,000 baht trick, or lady drinks, push for lady drinks. I think that was there from day one. I don't think that's ever changed. It's just that I think people are more aware of it now. Now, having said that, that never happened, hopefully, in the bars that I ran. And a lot of it is to do with the management. If you get that happening, I would say an awful lot of it is because they're just badly managed bars and people that aren't really customer focused.
Yeah, and it's interesting you've just said what you said, because I picked up on something which you mentioned, that you get the cold towel here.
Yeah.
And do you not think that is a bit more of a reflection of the fact that you've been here so long, you're old school, and that you still see that customer interaction as being very important? Because a modern day manager, most of them are on the phones and they're not really paying attention, and is that part of the service that they've never had, so therefore they don't really accept that you should do that?
Look, I mean, I don't want to knock modern day managers. Modern day managers, they want to be on the phones. They might well be. You see a guy on a phone, you think, oh, he's playing a game or something. He might well be trying to get people into the bar by going out to Facebook or other social media. I think a bar will always reflect the owner's personality and the owner's, what he considers to be the correct way to be served.
Sure.
Everything revolves around the owner. If you get a bar run by a Westerner, it's a bit rough and ready, and you sort of wipe your feet when you go out of it. It's probably a reflection of the person who owns that bar.
Okay.
So as here, I'm very laid back. For example, I like doing what we're doing now. I like chatting and talking about the old days with customers. So I don't have loud music, for example.
Okay.
Like my music is set at a level where people can talk. Now the downside of that is you get people going to Walking Street, they're in a bar, the music's pumping, they think, oh, I need 5 minutes out, I'll go to Phil's bar, have a quiet drink. They come in here and it's like, so it's one of those. But I do think that, yes, I like to think of the old days, but I don't do it because I'm going back to the old days. I just do it because that's what the right thing to do.
Okay, and we're going to come to the end nearly of part one. It's a two-part interview, so we're going to come back to that soon. And in the second half, we are going to talk about what it's like to own a bar. We're going to talk about your YouTube stream, etc. But before we move on and we call it a day on part one, I want to ask you one last question, and I want to talk to you about live streaming. It's a very hot topic right now. And there's a lot of people saying, I will never set foot in a bar if it's got a live stream going on. And there's other people saying, well, it's a means to an end right now and it's putting money on the table. What's your thoughts and what's your feeling about live streaming?
I draw the line at live streaming while the bar is open.
Okay.
Right. I have done live streaming when we were open before, but it was me talking to people on a camera, which would happen to be going out live, but the bar was closed. I totally sympathise and empathise, if you like, with people that say they wouldn't go in, and the big giveaway is those halo lights, right? If you see a bar with a halo light and the girl's looking in, I understand, you're not going to get the, first of all, there's a privacy issue, that's the first thing. Secondly, is the thing about you're not going to get a drink. You hear one or two customers saying that they've been into those bars and haven't been able to get a drink at service for girls. That's their opinion. It certainly hasn't happened to me. So I draw the line there. But as far as live streaming, what I'm doing on my channel is, hey, guess what, Trevor? We closed.
Yeah.
I have got zero income coming in. So what I've decided to do is take my YouTube channel, which again we're going to talk about it, I know, in part two. But but my YouTube channel, basically me doing what I'm doing now, talking to a few people about old time, and we sometimes do little reviews here and there. So I took that and I pumped up the live streaming, basically because I've got staff who live here in the bar and some that don't, and they can't go back home. They're not allowed to leave. So they're doing one or two odd shifts on the side, but they've got no money coming in. I'm trying to keep my staff together, and I've had it up to here, and to be quite honest, it's made me a lot stronger. The criticism that's come to live streaming in general, and to me personally, it's made me a stronger person.
Okay.
You should, we all get comments on YouTube.
Yeah.
I know you do.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're held for review, and you look at them. And I had one guy. I've got to give it to this one guy.
Go on.
He managed to get every single banned word that I'd set up in one sentence.
Oh,
I mean, I'm looking at this comment, and I wouldn't like to say what it was. I thought, you know what, mate? You're an idiot. But I've got to give it to you. You're very good at English because you managed to string it together. Trevor, I'm going to be honest with you. People are saying, oh, we're going to boycott your bar if you live stream. Right. I take that as a compliment. And I'll tell you why. They think there's going to be a bar to come back to. Because right now, things are like that with everybody. We had a lockdown in March. During March, we'd had a high season already. If you're smart like me, you had money in the bank. And that money in the bank got us through March, April, May, June. We're now in a situation where we've had no high season.
Sure.
We won't be having a high season until next year, fingers crossed, or certainly the end of this year.
Yeah.
And there's no money in the bank. So I've got zero money coming in. What I've done is, I've got advertising coming in from YouTube. I've got a membership area on my YouTube channel. Fantastic. 99% of the people that ever talk to me about it are very, very positive. Phil, we want to help you. All my customers are there and they want to help out. That 1%, honestly, they make me stronger because I feel so pumped up and energised at the moment because I'm doing something that I actually love, live streaming. Now, the format of what we do here and what I do on my own channel is that, we have girls and they're on the beach, or they're playing
Sure,
pool, or
yeah.
whatever, eating food. That was a hard one.
girls
That was a hard one to sell.
Never.
But I'm presenting it.
Yeah.
I've got a work permit, so I can go in front of camera and I can say, hey, welcome to the live stream. I'm Mr. Egg. These are the Love Pub girls. You know, if you want to help them out, whatever. All the money we get donated, we're not ringing bells or buying lady drinks or anything. Anything that people send to help the girls out goes to the girls. In fact, we had a really good live stream on Sunday. I had to pay all the girls out, and now I've got like 500 baht or something in my bank account. But don't worry, I'll get through that. So I differentiate myself from that to bars that are doing live streams whilst the bar is open. Nothing against what they do. Good luck to them. That's their business, and I'm not knocking them. But personally, I have got a thing about privacy, and I want to make sure. But can I just make it absolutely clear, Trevor? It could be the case that I would be on a plane going home, right? And I want to be on that plane going home, knowing that I tried everything I could to keep my business going. I tried everything for my staff. I rolled the dice every time. If I'm sitting on that plane, I didn't do live streaming, I didn't do that. I got an rusty old laptop. I've got a second-hand webcam. I've got a 400 baht microphone. And I went down the beach. We got the girls playing pool. We got the girls playing volleyball, and we put on a show.
Yeah.
And we got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people watching, and people helping out the girls. Personally, I think I actually did quite well. But there's still people that want to throw stones and throw dust, whatever.
Sure.
Up to them. But all I can say is it makes me smile.
All right, well, that's a very honest answer, and I thank you very much for that. So far we've covered Phil from when he was back in England doing his DJing, coming here for the first time, working in the clubs, to now he's got his own place, which we're going to talk about in the second part of our interview, as well as other bits and pieces. I've got a couple of little sneaky ones I'm going to throw in, which he doesn't know about. So I would like to say thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for tuning in to the Buzzing Pattaya channel. Please remember, hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when we bring out a new video. And come back, and we will be doing part 2 very soon. All right, that's it from me. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.